Lord Jim Noble by Joseph Conrad. Introduction to Jim. Jim is a young, idealistic British man who dreams of becoming a heroic sailor. He reads books about brave sea captains and wants to live a life full of adventure and honor. He trains as a merchant marine officer and begins working on ships. But reality does not match his dreams. The Patna incident. Jim joins a ship named Patna, which is carrying 800 Muslim pilgrims to Mecca. One night, the ship appears to be sinking after hitting something in the water. The American officers panic, believing the ship will go down. They abandon it, including Jim, who jumps into a lifeboat with them. But later the ship does not sink. It's found and safely brought to shore. The pilgrims are saved. Jim is devastated. He feels he has betrayed his idols to courage. The trial and public shame. Back in port, a trial is held. Jim is the only one of the officers who shows up. The others vanish. The others were vanish. The court strips him of his officer's license. Marlowe, an experienced sea captain, attends the trial and becomes fascinated by Jim's story. Jim's guilt is not just legal, it's deep inside his soul. Jim's wandering. After the trial, Jim begins wandering from job to job, town to town. He's trying to escape his shame and find peace. But wherever he goes, someone eventually finds out about the Patna incident and he has to move again. Marlowe's involvement. Marlowe becomes a kind of mentor and guide to Jim. He sympathizes with him but is also puzzled. Why did Jim, who seems noble and brave, fall in that one moment? Marlowe introduced Jim to Stein, a wise old German trader and butterfly collector. Stein believes everyone must have a dream to live by, even if it's impossible. Jim in Pathusian. Stein sends Jim to a remote village called Pathusian, deep in Southeast Asia. There, Jim gets a fresh start. He helps the people defeat corrupt rulers like Raja Alang. He earns respect, power, and a new name, Tuan Jim or Lord Jim. He falls in love with Jewel, a beautiful half-European woman. He becomes friends with Doramin, a local chief, and Dan Waris, Doramin's noble son. Jim finally feels he has redeemed himself. He is trusted, admired, and in control of his life. The arrival of Gentleman Brown. So trouble begins when a pirate named Gentleman Brown arrives with his men. Jim allows Brown to leave peacefully to avoid bloodshed, but this proves to be a fatal mistake. Brown breaks his trust and attacks. Dane Varys is killed. Jim's honor is shattered again, not by cowardice this time, but by misplaced trust. The tragic end. Jim does not fight back or run. He takes full responsibility for what happened. He goes to Doramin. Dan Varys' father, Doramin, shoots Jim dead in public. Major themes. Guilt and redemption. Jim's journey is about facing and trying to correct a single moment of failure. Heroism vs reality. Real heroism is completely and messy, not like the books in Raid. Identity and self-judgment. Jim is haunted not by the law, but by his own conscience. Colonialism. The novel takes place in the colonial Southeast Asia and critiques how Europeans behaved there.